I never imagined that humiliation could be adorned in silk and accompanied by champagne. There I found myself, nestled in the third row at my younger sister's wedding, adorned in the singular formal dress I possessed, striving to merge seamlessly into a gathering of individuals who appeared effortlessly refined, almost ethereal. My dear son Eli, perched beside me, his legs gently swinging beneath the table, clad in a charming little suit that required the sacrifice of 2 paychecks. He appeared utterly proud to be present in that moment. He believed this day would rekindle our sense of belonging within the family once more. Perhaps I wished for that as well.
Juliette, my sister, glidait through the dewy the grace of a cinematic muse.
She possessed an enchanting energy that captivated all around her.
Exquisité. Enchanting.
Beloved by all, particularly our dear mother. She received the praises. I received the comparisons.
She captured the spotlight.
I discovered the art of dwelling in the shadows. Yet, I made my presence known.
A gentle smile graced my lips.
I applauded as their lips met in a tender embrace. I maintained a calm demeanor when they inquired, "And you're the elder sister? You hardly seem the age to have an 8-year-old child." And so the speeches began to unfold. The best friend of the groom took the lead. A few gently amusing tales.
Soft, mélodique loctaire.
At last, it was Juliet's moment to shine. I anticipated a touch of sentimentality. There is a certain magic in love. Perhaps a reflection on the beauty of maturing side by side. I lifted my glass, filled with eager anticipation. I ought to have been more discerning. She raised her delicate crystal flute, a soft smile gracing her lips as she surveyed the room. "I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to all who have gathered here," she began, her presence radiating warmth. "Your presence here is truly invaluable to me. And naturally, I wish to express something truly special about my beloved big sister Nora."
He glanced at Ellie, a soft smile gracing my lips.
He gazed up at me, his eyes sparkling with delight. For a fleeting moment, I was convinced she was on the verge of uttering something tender. Juliet continued her enchanting tale. "Nora has truly been an inspiring figure. She is a single mother, resilient and self-sufficient, yet undeniably overlooked by those around her." The room blossomed with laughter.
A delightful flûte stirred within me.
I believed I had misheard her words. Yet, she continued to smile as if it were the most delightful jest she had ever shared. While a few guests appeared puzzled, the majority erupted in laughter, their glasses clinking together as if reveling in the joyous spirit of the moment. My gaze wandered aimlessly, uncertain of where to settle.
Maya traced, échoine in my ear.
Eli gently pulled at my sleeve, his voice a soft whisper, "Why did she say that about you, Mama?" Before I could respond, my mother interjected with a flourish from her table, seamlessly continuing the conversation. Though she has experienced much, she still possesses a captivating beauty that defies time. More laughter, this time with a delightful edge. It was laughter that pierced the very essence, a sound that transformed perceptions, shifting the gaze from guest to mere spectacle, from kin to a source of sympathy, a whisper of shame lingering in the air. I found myself unable to stir. Breath eluded me. My cheeks flushed with warmth, yet I held back the tears, determined not to let them fall in front of my son, nor in the presence of others. My fingers delicately entwined with the napkin beneath the table, holding it as though it were a lifeline. I scanned the room, hoping to find a soul whose gaze might intertwine with mine, offering a glimmer of compassion in the midst of the crowd. My grandfather cast his gaze upon his plate. My cousin cast a playful glance at her phone, a hint of mischief dancing in her eyes. Even my uncle, who once remarked that I bore a striking resemblance to my late father, did not lift his gaze. Eli appeared adrift, his delicate brows knitted together in a tapestry of confusion and sorrow. It was that moment that shattered me, not the spoken words, nor the laughter, nor the weight of shame. The sight of my son observing it all, seeking to grasp why his mother, the one who tenderly kissed his scraped knees and devoted late nights to assisting with his math homework, was being ridiculed by her own kin, was truly heart-wrenching. I felt the urge to depart. I longed to take Eli's hand, step into the world beyond, and leave the past behind us forever.
Yet, a whisper of uncertainty lingeait within me.
I longed to express my thoughts. I yearned to express my truth, to reveal that they were unaware of the burdens I have borne, the trials I have endured. Yet my lips felt parched. My legs quivered delicately beneath the table. In that moment, Just as I was about to shift, the sound of a chair being pushed back reached my ears. Miles, the groom, Vivian's impeccably refined fiancé, rose gracefully to his feet. He appeared rather unamused. He averted his gaze from Vivian. He averted his gaze from the guests. His gaze found me instantly, and a certain expression upon his visage caused the whole room to come to a standstill. In that fleeting moment, I sensed that something extraordinary was on the verge of unfolding. Neither a rescue nor a battle, but a moment of profound realization. It is often believed that the elder sibling is the guiding star, the one who inspires admiration and respect. Yet within the tapestry of our family, I found myself more a cautionary tale than an exemplar to be admired. I am Laura. I am 34 years old, a devoted single mother, and the unique soul within my family. In a quaint 2-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of town, I share my life with my beloved son, Eli. At 8 years old, he is the most precious gift in my life, the sole reason I find the courage to re-enter spaces that once left me feeling diminished. By day, I find myself immersed in the warm ambience of a local cafe, while by night, I embrace the charm of a small hotel, welcoming guests at the front desk. Life may not be adorned with glamour, yet it is uniquely my own. On Saturdays, I prepare delightful pancakes for Eli. I possess the skill to delicately sew patches into his jeans. And he whispers that I am his hero, his guiding light. That is all I require to continue my journey. Yet, in the eyes of my family, being a single mother felt like a mark of failure upon my heart. My mother, Diane, ensured that I experienced it at every festive dinner. She holds a deep reverence for the beauty of appearances. That is why she shares with others that Vivian's wedding represents a beautiful opportunity for the family name to be reborn. Vivian is my junior by 5 years. She possesses a captivating beauty and remarkable success, effortlessly embodying the grace of someone who has always been favored by fortune, yet she has an enchanting way of making it seem as though every achievement is a testament to her own hard work. She is the radiant jewel of our lives. Diane holds her in the highest regard. Whenever Vivian would sneeze, our mother would graciously offer her a silk handkerchief. When I fell ill, she gently advised me to take my vitamins and to refrain from being overly dramatic. When I found out I was expecting Eli, my world transformed in the most beautiful way.
At the tender age of 25, I found myself enchanted by a man who promisait tout remain steadfast by my side.
As the 5th month unfolded, he slipped away into the shadows.
Without a word, without a trace, simply vanished.
My family remained silent, offering no inquiries. Assistance was not extended to them. They bestowed upon me silence and judgment, and I whispered my foretelling to you. Yet, I had Eli by my side. As I cradled him in my arms for the very first time, all the harsh words spoken by others faded into mere whispers, lost in the gentle embrace of that moment. Yet beneath the surface, I yearned for the day they would recognize me, not merely as a single mother, but as a soul deserving of love. Perhaps that is why, upon receiving Vivian's wedding invitation, I accepted with a heart full of anticipation, despite not being part of the bridal party, despite the misspelling of my name on the RSVP card, and despite the necessity of renting my dress and arranging my hair in the bathroom mirror while Eli rehearsed his charming smile in his tiny tie. I whispered to myself that it was merely foreclosure, that perhaps, just perhaps, this was my family's gentle way of offering a serene olive branch. The venue exuded beauty, adorned with white roses in abundance, gold-accented tableware gleaming softly, while a string quartet serenaded from afar. Vivian appeared as though she had stepped straight out of the pages of a bridal magazine. She radiated joy and brilliance, reveling in each compliment and the glimmer of every camera flash. As she glided by, her smile wavered ever so slightly. "You made it," she said, her voice laced with a hint of surprise, as if my arrival had been a delightful twist in her day. She gazed down at Eli and remarked, "He's growing so much." Without embrace or warmth, merely fleeting exchanges, then once more into the limelight. Diane seemed to overlook my presence entirely. She glided by me as if I were merely one of the attendants, yet Eli radiated with an undeniable brilliance. He mused that the chandelier resembled a celestial vessel, suspended in the air with grace. He murmured that Vivian resembled a princess, and as I beheld the joy radiating from him simply by being present, I resolved to remain for the reception, despite the familiar pang of not quite fitting in that nestled within my heart. I discovered our table, number 9, nestled at the rear near the restrooms. I chuckled softly to myself, how fitting indeed. We savored our salads. As the rich chocolate mousse adorned Eli's tie, I gracefully assisted him in restoring its elegance. I averted my gaze from my mother, striving to remain oblivious to the soft murmur of my name drifting through the sound of clinking glasses. As the speeches began, it became clear to me that this evening would not unfold as a celebration of family unity or the grace of forgiveness. It was destined to be yet another moment for Vivian to dazzle, and I found myself poised to be her delightful jest. It began as many wedding speeches do, filled with warmth and sweetness, with just a hint of careful preparation. Vivian rose gracefully, her posture impeccable, as she cradled a champagne flute in her elegantly manicured hand. Her dress glimmered softly beneath the reception lights, and the room fell into a reverent hush, brimming with anticipation. She smiled, lingering for a moment to allow everyone to find their place. "Text, I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to each of you for your presence here," she began. "Today marks the pinnacle of my joy, enveloped by the cherished souls who hold my heart." From my secluded table I observed, whispering sweet reassurances to my heart that I too belonged within that tender phrase. Eli sat gracefully on the edge of his chair beside me, his legs swinging playfully, utterly captivated by the enchanting fairy tale unfolding before us. Vivian continued, her voice laced with tenderness as she spoke of her beloved husband Miles, weaving together themes of love, timing, and destiny.
He found a moment of tranquillity.
Perhaps, just perhaps, this discourse shall not transform into something harsh. Then she gracefully shifted. "And of course," she remarked with a playful smile, "I wish to extend my heartfelt appreciation to my beloved big sister Nora. Your unwavering strength has always served as a remarkable example." The spotlight gracefully shifted.
Il sensed the gaze of water drawn in my direction.
I straightened my posture slightly. I offered a gentle smile. Vivian continued, her voice airy yet incisive. "She is the most courageous woman I have ever encountered. She nurtured a child all on her own. Alone, without a husband or partner, she found herself in the company of only those gracious enough to lend a hand with the little ones."
The chamber let out a soft, mélodique logue. A gentle tension gripped my stomach.
"Yet," she remarked with a touch of admiration, "it is truly remarkable how she has navigated her journey. A solitary mother, overlooked by the world, yet she continues to rise with grace. Joyful, genuine, resounding laughter that fills the air."
A gentle sigh escaped my lips.
My cheeks burned with a warm blush. My hands grew cold as they clutched the napkin resting delicately in my lap. I cast a fleeting gaze at Eli. He wore a frown, a look of confusion gracing his features, as he cast his gaze about, as if seeking to comprehend the laughter directed towards his mother. Then arrived the most challenging moment. My mother, Diane, possessed a laughter that resonated more beautifully than anyone else's. She inclined her head toward her companions at the table and murmured, just audibly enough to be heard. Though she has seen her share of experiences, she still shines with grace and allure. A fresh tide of laughter emerged, one that bore no pretense of kindness. For a fleeting moment, my vision became a soft haze. It was as if a sudden gust had struck me, though no hand had ever made contact. All around me, laughter echoed, as if it were commonplace, as if it were permissible to deride a woman who had devoted nearly a decade to nurturing her son with grace and affection, as if solitude diminished my worth. I gazed down at Eli. His smile had faded away. He leaned closer, his voice a soft murmur, asking, "Why did she say that? What could she possibly mean?" Though my heart yearned to respond, the words eluded me, dancing just beyond my grasp. I was unable to shield him from this moment. I was unable to protect him from the perception our family held of me. Such a pain is not easily concealed. My heart fluttered with excitement. I surveyed the room, searching for an escape, for a presence that might intervene, someone who could whisper enough.
Yet, Allah, no one came forth.
Though a few appeared uneasy, their lips remained sealed. They merely gazed at their glasses, their plates, their phones. Even Grandpa Henry, who once affectionately referred to me as his little lion in my childhood, averted his eyes from mine. He was present. Yet, in that fleeting moment, he was not by my side.
Once more, he found myself in solitude.
It is true that I could have borne it, were it solely my burden to carry. For years, I have endured such treatment in silence. With a gentle smile, I might have taken Eli's hand and departed gracefully, my head held high. Yet, witnessing the bewilderment in my son's gaze, observing his struggle to comprehend why those who were once applauding and raising their glasses now found amusement at his mother's expense. It stirred something profound within me. I stood there, not out of certainty in my words, nor from a desire to draw attention to myself. I simply yearned to escape that room.
I found myself yearning for the gentle caress of fresh air.
I longed to inhale deeply, free from the suffocating weight of the shame they bestowed upon me. I gently pushed my chair back, my hands quivering with anticipation. Then, from the head table, a chair gently scraped against the floor. Miles, the groom, rose to his feet. He appeared quite wan. His jaw was set with a certain intensity. He gracefully seized the microphone from Vivian, unbidden. Silence enveloped the room. It felt as though the very air around us had turned cold. Gone are the echoes of laughter, the soft whispers, leaving only this profound stillness. And I understood, whatever unfolded thereafter was not woven into the tapestry of my intentions. Miles stood poised, one hand gracefully resting on the table, while the other held the microphone with a gentle yet firm grip. His gaze was irresistibly fixed upon me.
Not upon Vivian, nor upon Diane, nor upon the mirthful assembly, but solely upon me.
For a fleeting moment, I imagined he might weave another jest, effortlessly easing the atmosphere, uttering something enchanting to dissolve the unease. Such is the custom that often graces my family. Conceal it beneath the surface, feign its absence, label it as jest, or perhaps as custom. Yet, that was not his course of action. He remained without a smile. He remained silent, a shadow of amusement passing him by. His face bore a tension that eluded my understanding, perhaps anger, yet it ran deeper, a blend of disappointment intertwined with disbelief. Before he could utter a word, I gracefully tucked my chair in and extended my hand towards Eli. I was prepared to depart, softly, with an air of elegance. I refused to grant them the pleasure of witnessing my tears or my unraveling. I had experienced it previously. I would gladly embrace the opportunity once more. Yet, as I began to turn and depart, Miles's voice resonated, deep, steady, and soothing.
Elara, please stay.
That brought me to a halt. All eyes were drawn to him. Soft murmurs danced among the tables, akin to a gentle breeze caressing dry leaves. Juliet tensed gracefully.
Diane cast a discerning gaze.
The DJ extended his hand toward the volume controls, pausing as Miles lifted a hand in gentle protest. His gaze was solely fixed upon me, as if the world around us had faded away. I cannot feign contentment with the events that have just unfolded, he expressed. I shall not remain silent while such cruelty masquerades as humor. The room lingered in a hushed anticipation. Miles emerged gracefully from behind the table, his steps deliberate as he moved forward with an air of quiet confidence. He moved with a gentle grace, unhurried and poised. Each step appeared intentional, as if he were navigating the heavy atmosphere that enveloped the space. He paused beside our table, where Eli and I sat amidst the now cold salad plates, and gazed intently at the guests. Throughout this past year of wedding planning, I have encountered much discourse on family, on appearances, tradition, and loyalty. Yet, what I witnessed just now felt far from the essence of family. What a facade of festivity it was, cloaked in the guise of mockery. The crowd stirred with a hint of unease. Several eyes were drawn to Diane. Others gazed into their glasses, yet silence enveloped the room. He gazed upon Juliet. You ridiculed your sister for embracing the journey of single motherhood, for nurturing a child with unwavering strength and grace. Your laughter echoed, a haunting melody, as you compelled her son to witness the unfolding of such a painful scene. Juliet parted her lips, yet silence enveloped her words. Miles, with an air of quiet confidence, did not linger for her response. Though she never sought to find herself in such a circumstance, she embraced it with grace. She graced us with her presence today. She reclined gracefully in the rear. Her smile graced her lips. She brought her son to witness your momentous occasion, and you transformed that into a jest? In that fleeting instant, I beheld Juliet in a light that revealed her delicate essence, a sight I had never witnessed before. Miles glanced once more at the room. Nora did not position herself here to justify her presence.
She sought no pity.
She has never required a spotlight, yet I find myself compelled to speak out. If I am to unite with a family that finds amusement in cruelty and regards shame as a cherished custom, then I must reflect deeply on the kind of man I aspire to become. A soft gasp fluttered among the guests. A woman at the adjacent table murmured, "Is this truly real? A fork has been carelessly dropped." Eli gazed up at me, his eyes shimmering with wonder. I found myself at a loss, unsure of the path to take. I arrived with the mere hope of enduring the evening. I was taken aback by the unexpected support. Not in this manner, not before all these eyes. Miles cast his gaze upon my son, offering him the gentlest of nods. "Your mother embodies the strength that fills this room. Do keep that in mind." He cast a lingering glance at the crowd, savoring the moment one final time. "I believe I have witnessed all that I need to." With that, he gently placed the microphone aside, glided past Juliet without a single look, and made his way toward the door. I remained there, captivated, entwined in the warmth of Eli's hand. The melody remained silent. The crowd remained still. It felt as though the very essence of the atmosphere had been gently whisked away, leaving an enchanting stillness in its wake. The enchanting tale had crumbled into fragments. Yet, for the first time in many moons, it was not I who found myself shattered. As Miles stepped out of the reception hall, it felt as though a delicate switch had been turned, transforming the atmosphere entirely. Silence enveloped the room. Silence enveloped the moment, leaving no voices to celebrate. The only sound that graced the air was the gentle hum of the air conditioning, accompanied by the delicate clink of a solitary spoon meeting the glass. The crowd stood still, captivated in a moment of enchantment. Her gaze flitted gracefully between me, Juliet, and the door through which Miles had just vanished. Juliet stood at the head table, her expression as if she had just been caught in a sudden, unexpected storm. Her flawless posture faltered. Her shoulders gently bowed beneath the burden of recent events. She glanced about, yet the faces that met her gaze no longer wore smiles. Some appeared taken aback. A few appeared to be slightly flustered. A handful appeared quite displeased. Not at Miles, but rather at her. Diane was the first to break the silence. She rose suddenly, her chair gliding back with a soft piercing sound across the gleaming floor. "What a most ungrateful young man," she exclaimed with a hint of disappointment. "He brought you shame before all those present. How typical. Much like your sister. Self-centered." Yet her voice lacked the usual resonance it possessed. The enchanting influence she once wielded over the room had faded away. Her words lingered in the air, lacking the spark they yearned for. I chose to remain silent. It was unnecessary for me to do so. For the first time in my life, I felt a sense of warmth enveloping me instead of retreating from her voice. I gazed over at Eli. He gazed up at me, a hint of uncertainty in his eyes.
"Shall we take our leave?"
he inquired softly. "Indeed, my love," I whispered, gently tucking his hair behind his ear. "We are returning to our haven." I stood gracefully as I took his hand, our steps in harmony as we made our way toward the exit. As I glided by, the crowd gracefully parted before me. Some averted their gaze from mine. Others appeared as though they longed to express something, yet the words eluded them. As I reached the threshold, a voice softly beckoned my name. "Ilara." I turned gracefully. It was my beloved grandfather, Henry. Fair, with eyes softly encircled in crimson. He rose gracefully and approached me with a gentle stride. "I'm sorry," he murmured, his voice gentle and trembling. "I ought to have put an end to it long ago." I nodded, my lips sealed, unsure of my own voice. I held no resentment towards him for his silence in my defense.
Icam tout graspe the trouperai sauf silence fort certain soul.
I had experienced it fully. I held no anger within me, yet I also released their guilt from my heart. The air outside was refreshingly cool and delightfully crisp. Eli gently clasped my hand. "Has the wedding concluded?" I gazed down upon him. "Indeed," I replied, a smile gracing my lips. "I believe it concluded precisely as it was meant to."
Oui, journée domine quiétude, the radio silent, only the gentilhomme of the tyrant the soft cadence of Elias finger dancing on the armrest.
I gently tucked him in that night, pressed a soft kiss to his forehead, and lingered by his door, savoring the moment a touch longer than usual. He refrained from posing any further inquiries. There was no necessity for him to do so. The following morning, I awoke to a flurry of missed calls from unfamiliar numbers, distant relatives, and a few guests whose names danced just beyond my memory. I turned a blind eye to them all. My phone vibrated once more, a message from a dear friend who had attended the wedding. A recording of Miles's speech was made. It resides on Facebook, having already captivated over 50,000 viewers. It would be delightful for you to peruse the comments. There are those who rise in your support. I gently opened the video. There it was, Miles's voice, serene and unwavering, commanding the attention of the entire room. In that moment, I found myself suspended in time, gently clasping Eli's hand. The remarks were imbued with warmth and encouragement. This gentleman is a true hero. She was worthy of so much more. My heart is heavy as tears stream down my cheeks while I watch this. Every single mother has just received a touch of justice, a moment to cherish.
Yelte back my tears.
I, too, refrained from smiling. I felt a serene stillness, as though a long-held tension within me had finally released its grip. During that week, Vivian endeavored to weave a captivating narrative. She remarked that Miles had overreacted, suggesting it was merely a jest and that people were overly sensitive. Yet the truth had already taken its place, and laughter had faded into silence. A few days later, a delicate bouquet of wildflowers graced my apartment. There was no note, merely a delicate card inscribed with the words, "To the Lioness." The sender's identity was unmistakable to me. The wedding did not come to fruition. Yet, something of greater significance unfolded. For once, the weight of shame did not rest upon my shoulders. It was not I who bore the burden of the apology. I stepped out of that room with my son, my dignity intact, and my head held high. And somewhere beyond the horizon, a voice echoed through a gathering of souls, perhaps even reaching the vast expanse of the internet, illuminating the true essence of strength. 6 months have passed since the wedding that was never meant to be. Juliet and Miles have gracefully decided to part ways, bringing their engagement to a close. There was neither a declaration nor a spectacle, no subsequent message to follow, merely a serene fading of what was meant to be an idyllic day. Juliet re-entered her social circle as if the world had remained unchanged. The images from that enchanting evening vanished from her feed. She has yet to make contact with me. I find myself uncertain that she would. Diane reached out, not to express regret, but to convey that my lack of laughter had brought embarrassment to the family. For a fleeting moment of 30 seconds, I held my breath, then summoned the courage to express a sentiment I never imagined I could articulate.
Ishel no longe billor convient escape.
Then I gently ended the call. It was not filled with anger. It lacked any sense of drama. It was pure, understated, conclusive. In the end, I came to understand that a grand apology from my family was not what I truly needed. I did not require them to abruptly transform or acknowledge my value. I simply had to cease longing for their approval to recognize it within myself. My life did not undergo a sudden transformation. I continue to dedicate long hours to my work. On certain evenings, I find myself preparing 2 dinners, as Eli craves pancakes while I yearn for something vibrant and green. Yet, I now present myself in a new light. I stand tall, unburdened by the weight of silent regret. I no longer linger in the shadows of the room. Eli has transformed as well. He inquires with greater frequency now, and his questions are astute. He seeks to understand the reasons behind the cruelty of some and the courage of others. He speaks of Miles as if he were a hero from the pages of a Marvel tale. At times, he envisions himself delivering impassioned speeches with his action figures, championing the cause of the underdog. As I observe him, a profound certainty settles within me. He witnessed something that evening that will undeniably influence the man he is destined to be. Bold yet tender, unhesitant in moments that matter. One evening, as we stood side by side brushing our teeth, Eli caught my gaze in the mirror and gently inquired, "Mom, are you still feeling sad about what Aunt Vivian said?" I hesitated for a moment, then softly replied, "Not anymore." "What is the reason behind this?" He offered a casual shrug, a trace of toothpaste adorning his chin. "For I believe you have triumphed, even if there was no battle to be fought." That lingered in my heart, for he spoke the truth. I did not raise my voice. I refrained from returning any insults. I chose not to seek justice with loud cries or public displays of emotion. I gracefully rose, took my son's hand in mine, and strolled away. And another, an unexpected soul, chose that silence could no longer suffice. Miles did more than merely rise to my defense. He evoked in everyone present the true essence of love's beauty. Not the kind that dons a tuxedo or glides gracefully down the aisle. The kind that witnesses another's pain and gently declares, "Not today, my dear." In my journey, I have come to realize one profound truth. To be alone is not to be unloved. To be kind is not a sign of weakness. Once dignity is reclaimed, it becomes an enduring treasure, impervious to the grasp of others. Alas, I did not partake in the dance at my sister's wedding.
In éter resed a glace in célébration nor cast a bouquet, nor di dichet joyful tears beneath the shimmering fairy lights.
Yet, I departed with a treasure far more precious than mere approval. I departed with my head held high, my son by my side, enveloped in a profound and serene assurance that I no longer owe explanations to anyone. That is an ending that took everyone by surprise. And precisely the one I was meant to have. Should this tale resonate with you, if you have ever felt diminished or hushed amidst a gathering of those who ought to have supported you, take heart in this truth. Your voice holds significance. Your dignity is of utmost importance. And you shall never find yourself in solitude. If this tale has touched your heart, I kindly invite you to express your appreciation by liking this video, sharing it with someone who might find solace in its message, and leaving a thoughtful comment below. I would be enchanted to hear if you have ever encountered a moment when someone courageously defended you, or perhaps a time when you found the strength to advocate for yourself. Should you desire more poignant tales that resonate profoundly, defy conventions, and illuminate the essence of our humanity, consider subscribing to the channel and activating that notification bell, ensuring you remain attuned to the treasures that lie ahead. I am truly grateful for your presence. And keep in mind, your narrative holds immense strength, even if the world remains silent in its appreciation.